that you gangsta, I ain't seen shit. I don't like nice girls, I want a mean bitch. Still throw it back and she cook and she clean, bitch. Hit him and I put her straight to sleep, I got lean dick. 4 Giottos on the coupe, hoes love the whip. 42 in my cup, bitch, I love the sip. I just ate a stroom out my pocket, bitch, I love the trip. Don't do GA, I'm popping, bitch, I love the VIP. Rose gold Prezi.
What's good, Samurai gang? Hey, listen, we're back with another video. Yeah, explaining Baryon by the GOAT. Swag Hage. Listen, how we gonna explain something that we don't even know nothing about? That's what I want to know. Like, what type of headcanon are we gonna use in this video? I don't know. We're about to see. All I gotta say is Naruto's hearts are real funny. I'm not talking about swag. I'm just talking about Naruto's hearts in a nutshell are the funniest people on the planet. They feel like they're the most strippiest, the best anime, best character development, and there's tons of videos that shut that shit down. Oh, shout out to Young Defiant. That nigga funny. Hey, but back to this. What are we doing here? I feel like we needed more information, but we're not gonna never get no more information because Karuma's gone. Karuma's gone. So, Swag, how we coming, bro? How we about to do this? Get your snacks ready. I have mine. Yeah, cold pizza tastes really good. Yeah, I don't know, Swag, help.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Swag Kage here, and today we're actually going to be talking about Boruto for a change. I know I've been avoiding the series for what feels like forever at this point.
So you're gonna talk about Boruto, but talk about Naruto? That's crazy.
But I finally read the manga, and I have to say, I enjoyed the series a lot more than I expected to. Certainly more than I enjoyed the first 30-ish episodes of the anime. I'm not going to give a detailed account of how I feel about the series here, since I think that's better saved for another video, maybe multiple videos. But suffice it to say, if you haven't checked out the manga yet, I definitely recommend it. And you guys can also...
I feel like you only check out the manga to create content. Not you, not Swag, but to create content so that you can power scale, so that you can have kind of a better understanding of how certain jutsus and powers work in Boruto. So, I mean, right now in the manga, you got Code chasing Kawaki or whatever. All right, okay, cool, whatever. Like, after the fight with Hishiki, that's when it started to die down. It's really up to you, to be honest. To be honest, it's really up to you how you want to do this.
Also expect more Boruto videos on this channel in the near future. Now in this video, we're going to be taking a look at what's arguably the biggest development in the series up to this point, and that's Naruto's new form called Baryon mode. There's a decent bit of information to go over for sure, but I imagine what the majority of you are most interested in is how powerful this form is.
That's the only reason why people would want to, watch this video. How strong is Baryon mode? Because some people say, I had comments saying that, oh, it's universal. Oh, it's solar system. Oh, it is sun level. Oh, it is star level. Oh, it is medium dwarf level. You got a bunch of headcanons, bro. So, yes, help explain what you think. This is your personal headcanon. So, we're going to see.
Give a more detailed answer in a little bit, but to start, this is obviously Naruto's most powerful transformation. Now, this probably doesn't...
Now, you heard what he said, right? This is Naruto's most powerful transformation. I had comments saying that Sage of Six Paths is more powerful. KCM2 is more powerful after we just seen him get washed in KCM2, but, I digress. KCM Sage mode or whatnot.
Come as a surprise. surprise to anybody. I'm sure those of you who haven't even read or watched Boruto yet saw that answer coming from a mile away. But I'm also willing to say that it's not just Naruto's strongest form, rather it's the strongest power-up in the whole series. Really, the only one that I can say in good faith rivals it is the power-up that gave Kakashi both of Obito's Sharingan, but even compared to that, I think Baryon mode is still a way bigger jump. Now before we get into any more specifics, like I was saying earlier, even though I'm really late, I'm glad that I finally caught up on the Boruto manga, and you know, I could say the same thing about the sponsor of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. Massive power-up. But that's a little self-evident. Most of you probably already knew that. The real question is, what does that mean in more precise terms? We aren't given an exact numerical value like we are with Choji's Red Jawbreaker, or even a rough numerical value like we are with the 8 Gates, but the series provides more than enough statements and context to make a ballpark estimate feasible. Let's start with our biggest and most obvious clue, Naruto's fight against Ishiki. By just watching or reading the fight, it's pretty easy to gather that Naruto is the stronger of the two here once he's transformed. This is clearly demonstrated to us through the fight itself and stated or implied by multiple characters present there. In the anime, the gap between them is a lot more apparent, and it's quite a bit more significant, but the difference is definitely still there in the manga. Regardless of the source we look at, Naruto is stronger than Ishiki, and by a notable, albeit
my take on this is, yes, he's stronger for the moment. It's kind of like what would I compare it to? It's kind of like, I'm not going to try to use Dragon Ball because that's the only way I could like make sense of the form and how strong it is. That's how I make sense of something. So if I had to compare it, it's a really significant boost in power in all stats. So I'm guessing for me, it's kind of like 8 Gates, right? Because the immense power boost. But you can only hold it for like 5 seconds though. Like he only had that power for like 5 seconds. And then once that power leaves, that's when Naruto is vulnerable again. So base Naruto stands no chance. KCM Naruto stands no chance. KCM Sage Mode Naruto stands no chance. Baryon Mode stands a chance. But he has to end the fight quick or else he's going to die. Well, not Naruto, but Kurama's going to die. And then he's going to be left powerless and whatnot.
Unquantifiable amount. It's admittedly pretty hard to say exactly how much stronger Naruto
is,
but the difference is substantial enough that it becomes apparent to both Sasuke and Kurama that Naruto's winning pretty quickly. Speaking of Sasuke, his statements make it pretty clear that Baryon Mode Naruto severely outclasses him, and I think there's one in particular that quite effectively illustrates the gap between them. About halfway through the fight, Naruto easily intercepts some high-speed projectiles shot at him by Ishiki, and it's at this point that Sasuke thinks to himself that he can barely keep track of these projectiles with his Sharingan. Ishiki himself even seems surprised by this, so it's fair to assume that he probably wasn't holding back. More importantly though, Sasuke's statement here tells us that Naruto is massively faster than he is, despite the fact that up until this point in the series, the two of them have been implied to be rivals. One is likely stronger than the other, but I think most of us can agree that they were at least relative to one another. And I can't overstate how enormous the implied speed difference is here. Sasuke is rarely put in a position where he struggles to follow his opponent's movements with his eyes. Even against people who are significantly faster than him, like Killer B, Raikage A, Ten-Tails Obito, and Kaguya, he was still able to keep track of them as they moved around the battlefield. In the fight against B, Sasuke actually mentions that it's particularly easy for him to track linear movements with his Sharingan, and since Ishiki throws his rods in a straight line, this should apply to them too. This makes it even more impressive that in Sasuke's own words, he was barely able to keep track of these rods, and keep in mind, this statement wasn't actually about Naruto, it was about the rods which Naruto caught without any trouble at all. So to lay this out in a way that might be a bit more digestible, let's connect all the dots here.
There's Naruto. This Ishiki's rods.
Well, then there's
Sasuke.
I'm getting there. There's
Ishiki. Sasuke's Sharingan.
There's
Jigen.
and then there's
Sasuke.
That's my messed up.
Speaking of Jigen, he's actually a pretty good point of
That was corny.
reference for determining how much stronger Naruto got when he entered Baryon mode. As most of you probably remember, Naruto and Sasuke didn't just struggle against Ishiki,
They got fodderized. Yes, we know.
they also had a hard time in their fight against Jigen. Though it would probably be more accurate to say that Jigen soundly defeated both of them. Saying they
At the same time,
had a hard time is putting it pretty lightly. Relatively speaking, the gap in power between Jigen and Naruto and Sasuke was at least as big as it was when their war art counterparts fought Kaguya. They definitely didn't struggle like they did against Jigen when they fought Madara or even Ten Tails Obito. At least not when they started fighting Obito with the majestic attire Susanoo anyway. But
I mean, if they did do that, they're too slow. They're not even fast enough to do it. Yes, they're going to be immensely strong, but they're going to be slow as hell, as we've seen with Ishiki fodderizing both Naruto and Sasuke. So let's just have a little clip of, Ishiki kicking Sasuke through his Susanoo, which was fucking hilarious to me. And then we're going to have Jigen. Well, I'm stuttering. What the fuck? We're going to have Jigen punching Naruto out of his avatar state. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy with him.
comparisons aside, the point is that Jigen was totally out of their league on a
Yeah.
different level than both of them.
Yeah, like in my Discord, I have people saying that, oh, Naruto and Sasuke weren't even at 100% when they fought Jigen. Like, you know how Naruto trying to make excuses for everything, bro? Like, that's my biggest pet peeve about them. They tend to make excuses when they, in the manga, in the anime, got, destroyed. They got obliterated, bro, by Jigen. Not even Ishiki, Jigen. So it's like, when they gonna learn not to make excuses, bro?
I've seen a lot of people claim that Naruto and Sasuke were sort of relative to him, that they were kind of keeping up with him.
Kinda? Is this kinda to you? Like, and then they make the argument that, oh, well, Naruto has his clones. Yeah, that's working out pretty fine, isn't it? It's working out it's working out so damn perfect that he has all these clones. Hold up.
People claim that Naruto and Sasuke were sort of relative to him, that
I don't believe that. I'm gonna keep it honest, bro. Like, I don't think they were even relative to him, because he clearly showed that there's a gap, and that gap was big because he wasn't sweating, he wasn't even trying, but he knew that he had a time limit, right? That's the only thing. Had he not had a time limit, they would have been in so much trouble, to be honest. And I'm being completely honest with all of this, because we all watch the same thing. I'm not trying to seem like I'm hating, but this is what it was. This is reality. Like Sasuke said in episode 220, accept reality, my nigga. Understand that there's a gap. We're not relative.
they were kind of keeping up with him, but I just don't agree, and I actually
Thank
think
you,
that my
Swag.
sense that they were severely outclassed
Thank you, Swag.
is supported by multiple statements in the manga.
Thank you.
Koji considers Naruto defeating Jigen an outright impossibility and thinks that Sasuke teaming up with him would barely improve his chances. Sasuke himself tells Boruto that he and Naruto couldn't even make a dent against Jigen, and if you take these statements seriously, they frame Jigen as somebody who, like I was saying, is at a totally different level of power than Naruto and Sasuke are. Now, establishing all of this is important because obviously Ishiki is much more powerful than Jigen is, and I think that the difference between the two of them shouldn't be understated either. Before we ever actually see Ishiki in the flesh, Amado talks about him like his power dwarfs that of the Ishiki-controlled Jigen. And this is supported when Kashin Koji fights Ishiki and describes his power as being on a completely different level than it was when he was Jigen. So if we take these statements from Kashin Koji and Amado seriously, then we can easily place Ishiki like at least two whole tiers of power.
But why wouldn't you take it seriously? That's the point. You have to take what they're saying seriously, because when they fought, that's what happened. Like, we seen Naruto get his ass whooped until Baryon mode. So anything below Baryon mode, Naruto and Sasuke was getting their ass destroyed, which is a fact. But we're trying to figure out how strong is this mode because it dwarfs Ishiki. But we got to take into account that Ishiki was dying in like 2 days. So I don't think he could use all his full power to like how he wants to because he was dying. And Baryon made it worse.
Power above Naruto and Sasuke. If you don't want to take their word for it, it's still clearly implied by multiple statements from other characters that Ishiki is significantly more powerful than Jigen was, and Kurama even describes Ishiki's power as otherworldly. And like I mentioned earlier, Naruto wasn't just matching Ishiki in Baryon mode. The two of them weren't even. Naruto was stronger than him and he was winning the fight. The fight was so one-sided that you might be able to argue that the same way I said Jigen was a tier above Naruto and Sasuke and Ishiki was a tier above that Baryon mode Naruto might be a tier above Ishiki in power. Though of course that's a little hard to say for sure, especially considering the form's very strict time limit. Regardless of if you believe it's that strong or not, it's clear that Baryon mode propelled Naruto into a whole new realm of power. The jump from 6-path Sage mode to Baryon mode was almost, if not just as massive as the jump from KCM2 to 6-path Sage mode was. I mentioned the form's time limit just a second ago, by the way, and I think that now would be a good time to segue into its finer mechanics and how it works rather than just how strong it is. I'll start with something that isn't expressly stated, and that's the form's namesake. So in real-world physics, baryons are a type of subatomic particle, distinguished by the fact that they all have an odd number of quarks. Since they're a subclass of hadron particles and...
Hey, yo, my nigga, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hold on.
...works rather than just how strong it is. I'll start with something that isn't expressly stated, and that's the form's namesake. So in real-world physics, baryons are a type of subatomic particle, distinguished by the fact that they all have an odd number of quarks. Since they're a subclass of hadron particles, and all hadron particles have at least 2 quarks, that means all baryons have to have at least 3, which makes them particularly heavy. The baryon particle isn't just a subclass of the hadron particle.
That's an actual particle? Wow. All right. I didn't know that. Like, Swag, why aren't you like a fucking biology, chemistry teacher or something?
It is also a subclass of the fermion particle. Picture a Venn diagram in your head, and at the overlap between hadrons and fermions exists baryon particles. The most famous kind of baryon particles are protons, which carry a positive charge, and neutrons, which don't carry any charge. Protons and neutrons colliding and combining together is...
I thought he was going to say something about electrons. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. But see, I'm not going to even act like I'm smart. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. When he started talking about chemistry, that was my weakest subject in high school and college. Therefore, no.
It's also the basis for any nuclear fusion reaction, the process that powers many nuclear reactors and also produces the energy released by the sun. Now, the reason all the chemistry talk is relevant is because Kurama actually directly compares baryon mode to the process of nuclear fusion, and even mentions the sun specifically, which might give you an idea of why the form is so powerful. Maintaining baryon mode consumes a massive amount of chakra, but it converts this chakra into a unique energy source and seems to release a greater quantity of this energy than the equivalent of chakra that it consumes. Much like nuclear fusion, the energy produced by baryon mode, or in more practical terms, the power provided to the user by baryon mode, is otherworldly, vastly greater than the power provided by any other transformations we've seen up to this point. The form seems to be unique to the Nine Tails and its Jinchuriki, but due to the immense chakra it consumes, using the form just a single time will lead to Kurama's death. According to Kurama, though, because the form rapidly eats away at his life force and all chakra is connected, coming into contact with anyone using the form will result in one's own life force being shaved away as well. Now, just to be clear, this is not the only way that a user of baryon mode can deal damage. Naruto's punches were amped significantly. It's just that because of the form's extremely strict time limit, he wasn't able to maintain it for long enough to do enough damage to Ishiki to kill him.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Like, when I was watching a fight and reading the manga, it didn't look like he took any damage at all. The only thing it looked like is it sped up his death process. So that's what I took away from it. But when I was seeing the fights, I'm like, he has no broken limbs. He has no scratches. He's not severely damaged. So what's going on? Like, he's boxing him up, but like, is it really hurting him? He didn't even look like he was in pain, to be honest. So
thanks to this life force shaving thing that he was able to beat Ishiki at all. Since Kurama seems to be of the opinion that if that weren't a factor, Ishiki would simply outlast Naruto and kill him.
Yeah, so it's more like Naruto would have lost the form, and then Ishiki over time was gonna murk him. So Naruto really be getting lucky, bro. He gets so damn lucky.
Now I gotta say, Baryon mode's time limit is incredibly brief. This power-up is about as short-lived as DMS Kakashi's was, but considering the insane power it provides to its user, it's hard to imagine even this being an issue in most circumstances. Anyway, since using this form caused Naruto to lose Kurama, I'm actually pretty interested in making a video about how strong Naruto and Sasuke are without their power.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you, are you going to, like, make a video about how strong Naruto and Sasuke are? Because on my channel, we have people saying, oh, no, well, Sakura's stronger than Naruto and Sasuke now, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, what you think, bro? I actually want to hear what Seth has to say about that. Like, I was hoping somebody was gonna make a video on like your opinion on how strong they would be without Kurama or Sasuke's Rinnegan or Tomo Rinnegan. I don't know. He be having Rinnegan, and sometimes he doesn't have Rinnegan in his. I said sometimes he doesn't have Rinnegan. Sometimes he has Tomo in his Rinnegan, and sometimes he just has a regular Rinnegan. So like, yeah, like I actually want to know. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and whatnot. Leave a comment down below. You already know.